Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the My Intentional Parenting Journey, a series that we've been hosting for over 30 days now, where parents of the Inner Circle program of the Intentional Parent Academy come together to share their transformational journey. We've had at this point over 30 parents who have all shared different stories bordering and centering around how transformational and how life changing the experience of the inner circle has been for them. Today, you're seeing a different face. My name is Precious. I'm a team member at the Academy, and I'll be standing in the place of our lead coach, Wendy Uloge, who is unavoidably absent. Now, in today's episode, I am super excited to be interviewing the one and only Uncle D. Now, Uncle D is not just a member in the inner circle. Uncle D is also a team member at the academy. He is a coach at the academy and also the founder of the Teens Success Academy. Now, with Uncle D, we're going to have a multifaceted conversation because Uncle D doesn't have any child. Uncle D is single. What is a single man doing in a parenting academy? So, if you are ready for this conversation, I want to see you drop your comments in the comment section. So we have Olami Paul saying that I can't miss this live session with Coach Chiedozie, the peace coach. Coach Chiedozie, you're not for trouble. You are for peace. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm
And
alright.
welcome to the Intentional Parenting Journey.
Thank you very much, Precious. Good morning. How are
Good
you doing?
morning. Very well.
Good
Thank
to be
you.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, so Olamipo is here already. Welcome, Olamipo. Who else is on the stream? Before we start bombarding Uncle D with all the questions that because I have a lot of questions. First of all, I want to know why are you in the inner circle? You're single, young man. What are you doing in the inner circle? So we want to know for other single people who are not yet married, who don't have kids yet, who are wondering because we have people who have young children saying that their kids are not yet grown, so they don't have to be in the inner circle. But Uncle D, on the contrary, is single, but in the inner circle. We have Dr. Happiness. Dr. Happiness said blue fire. Fantastic. So, Dr. D, I'm sorry, Uncle D, please introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I think you've done most of the introduction. My name is Chiedozie Eze. I am a teens coach. I am a writer and the founder of Teen Success Academy. So that pretty much does it. Let's get right into the
Yeah.
conversation for today.
Exactly. Yeah. So my first question for you would be, how did you come in contact with the academy?
Oh, well, like you mentioned again, I've been a team member at the academy. I got in contact with the academy, that will be in 2020, right? It was one of those public events of the TIP, and someone invited me
Conference?
to that show. 2020 was the year of COVID-19.
Yes, the
Okay,
pandemic.
so during that whole lockdown period, someone invited me to. Okay, before then, it was Emeka Nobis who had linked me up with Coach Wendy and said
Yeah.
if you're coaching teenagers and you are here, you should meet this person. And so that was more like it. But then somebody again invited me to an event that I attended. It was with Coach Wendy, and I think Auntie Tima was there or something like that. So that was my first contact with the academy. And of course, I started following Coach Wendy's works until 2022 when I decided, okay, let me jump into because having worked with Coach Wendy for a few years and let me jump into the inner circle. And she would always say that when in the first few weeks of being in inner circle, I had to go to her office and ask her, what did I do to you? What did I do that you had not told me all this while about what was going on in the inner circle, even though I was
Yeah.
around, I knew about the inner circle. But you know how you can just think that you know because you are around, okay, but it's a whole different kettle of fish being in inner circle than just uh, being around Coach Wendy and the academy and all of the things that happen. So that's how
True.
that's a summary of all the things that transpired, and here we are.
You got into the inner circle. That is
Yeah.
so fantastic. I've heard this story, and every time I hear how you came in contact with the academy, it always excites me. But I want to know, why did you join the inner circle? You know, I said in the beginning that the anchor point that makes this session really intriguing for me is that you're single at the moment. You're not yet a parent. And we still have people who are parents saying that I don't need the inner circle now. My child is still 1 year, my child is still two. When they get become teens, I'll join the inner circle. So the question would be, what motivated you to join the inner circle, irrespective of other factors?
Okay. Well, you know that the way we look at parenting around here, so parenting is, of course, biological. You have had a child, okay, but it is beyond that. It is beyond
I
that. I
agree.
work with teenagers. I've worked with teenagers for quite a while now, right? And one of the things I realized was the disconnect between coaching teenagers and also connecting with their parents, and understanding exactly what that should be. Maybe if I was even a parent biologically, I would have had a different perspective to it. But I
I
wanted
agree.
to be there. But a lot of us are Christians, and if you believe that whole creation story in in the book of
Genesis.
Genesis, that guy, the first person, Adam and Eve, that was thrown in the earth, obviously by God, and long story happened, but eventually that guy failed. Um, he had a bit of success, of course, but he failed in the
The core
biggest areas,
assignment.
the assignments that he was given, and he failed in parenting. Um, his first son killed the second guy. You
Yeah.
can imagine. You can imagine that kind of family.
Sibling rivalry at the peak.
You can imagine where you have two children and one killed the other. They're not just quarreling.
Yeah.
It resulted in murder. Um, um, then when God, imagine yourself as God in that picture, right? You are running this experiment with this guy, and he has just blown it. Like, he blew it big time.
Yeah.
When they were going to repeat that experiment, they called him the last Adam. When they made the second one called
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Jesus.
they had to tweak. They had to tweak that arrangement. They let him come as a baby.
To
They let him
start
come
all
as
over again.
he had to come and start
Wow.
and learn and all of that. What's the principle? The principle is this. You know, we train for every other assignment that we have on earth, but we never really bother to train for the
But the
biggest
most
assignment
important.
that we have,
Yes,
which I
sir.
think is parenting and marriage. Okay. Nobody really bothers to go and learn how to be married. You
Yes.
just assume that it is the normal cycle of life, that
Yes.
when you're born, you go to school, you graduate, you go to NYC, you come out. The next question is you should get married. And then the moment you get married, 1 year later, the next question is, where are the children?
Exactly.
Now, there is no institution, however, that prepares you for that assignment. Now, 7 years in medical school, you are not going to practice medicine for all your life. You're probably at some point going to jump out of that profession.
True.
5 years in engineering, you're probably not even going to practice it at all. You might never even get into that field, or if you do, at some point in your life, you're going to jump out. But here is one institution where you're going to spend the rest of your life, so to speak, and we see how the whole thing is crumbling left, right, and center, because
Yes.
people just assume that because I am of age, quote and unquote, I am going to succeed. But
And
it's not
have
going
all
to,
those things.
it's not going to
Yes,
happen.
sir.
You're going to have to get trained. So that is my perspective, irrespective of whether you are biologically a parent or not. You need training for
Was you
this
trained?
big assignment. And for me, it's bigger because not only am I going to raise biological children, I am now involved in raising other
You
people's
have a
children.
mandate. Yes, sir.
I'm involved in raising other people's children. So I see a bigger conversation around the subject, and
Yes.
necessity is laid on me, like it is said, to get trained, and that's the whole idea. We call TIP the Parenting University. Um,
Yeah. The
so
Harvard.
yeah,
Correction,
so
sir.
coming to a school where you're going to learn how to raise young people. That's the way I see it, and
Yeah.
we're going to get further into the conversation because coming into the TIP, another thing I've realized is just it's also beyond just raising children.
Hold it
That's
there. We are going to get there.
it's beyond just raising children, all right? So,
I
but
agree.
that's about what
But
the
hold
motivation
it
is
there.
for coming
Yeah.
into the academy. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, I love what you said that Mr. Chris has highlighted. He said that we
Mm.
train for every other assignment we have on earth, except the most important, which is co creating with God, parenting, and the institution of marriage, which is so true. Now, the next question I'll be asking you is what you wanted to say, but I wanted to interrupt you, so I'll ask the question so you don't. The next
Okay.
question is, how has the inner circle impacted your personal life? One coherent testimony that everybody has in the inner circle is that beyond being a parenting university, beyond being the Harvard of universities, the inner circle is a life school. It is a life university. I was reading the shoe collector's post on Instagram this morning, and she was
Okay.
saying how her life changed just from being in the academy. Now, her biggest testimonial is not just the impact on her children, her
Mm,
biggest testimonial is now on the impact on her personal life. So, taking a
mm.
leaf from there, I want to ask you, how has the inner circle transformed you? Because I have testimonies for days. So, I want to throw the light to you this morning. How has the inner circle impacted your life, your journey, your relationships, your career, the whole facets of your life?
Also, like I was saying, the inner circle is beyond just parenting.
Yes,
It's
sir.
beyond parenting. Of course, one of the first things you're going to hear when you come into the inner circle is that parenting is not about the children; it's
It's just
about
about
you,
you.
which also leans into the previous question you were asking me. So it's not necessarily about your kids; it's about you. Essentially, side note, when about the time I got involved with the academy, I was also doing this other training. It was supposed to I'm not going to get into it, but it was a 2-year program that I was doing, and the inner circle kind of leaned into that because it's a training about you. It's a training about what it is that you are here to do, and then you're going to learn that parenting is a big game. Now, when I say that we are not training for the biggest assignment on the earth, which is about raising other human beings, birthing other destinies. You get into the academy, and then you start to relearn you. You start to relearn you, and most of the time unlearn some of the garbages that we have learned from culture and society. So
Very true.
all of those what do you call it? Coach will always say feathers. Throw away all the feathers that you have. All of those feathers that you have acquired from how they used to do things in your village and how they
Yeah.
used to do things in your
The feather
community.
you.
All of those things are going to be plucked away from you. And so
Yeah.
the impact is you now begin to see you as a person on a mission, a person on an assignment, and who is the most important factor in that assignment?
In that
Is it the
assignment.
message
Yes, sir.
or the messenger? All right. So that's what the training is. And so that's the biggest thing that I take away from the academy is not just parenting. You come into this place, you're learning about your personal finance, you're learning about your home, you're learning about your business, you're learning about your career, you're learning. It's just an all round thing because you see, all these different parts of your life will eventually come to bear on how you parent other people.
Very
Okay, you
true.
cannot just so parenting is not this one thing that is blocked out on its own and it's kept here, but is a major integral part of your life. So what is the biggest impact for me? Honestly, it's difficult to put a finger on it because
Yeah.
you are here and you're learning how to be good, how to be better, how to be effective, how to be excellent in different aspects of your life. And if all of those things, yeah, there's an author, James Clear, I usually like that quote. He says, how you do one thing is how you
That's how you
do
do
every other thing.
everything.
And so
Yes,
if
sir.
you get it right in this area of your life, chances are very high that you are going to, of course, deliver on these other areas of your life. Is it how to
I
live
agree.
in peace? Is it how to honor people and be honorable? Is it how to manage your emotions? You see, that conversation around emotions management is not about your children. Is it's the reason why society is the way it is, because
Yes.
everybody is living on edge, and it's like everybody is waiting for the littlest provocation and then you explode like that on the road. So that whole thing is not just going to affect your children. It's going to affect how you manifest in your office. It's going to affect how you relate to people even at your church. It's going to affect how you relate with people everywhere that you feature in life. So that conversation, the conversation around being in the inner circle, is beyond whether you are a biology. I'm always emphasizing
Biological.
on
Yes. Yes, sir.
you know permit me to go to scripture again. There's one
Yes, please.
place where they said um sing, O barren, sing you that did not bear, because greater are the children of her than those that had children. Okay, you're going to, if we agree that it takes a community to raise a child, why do you think that you should be the only important member of that community? Imagine if you're the only
Yeah.
one that knows parenting and the other members of the community, they only know how to rear chicken. You are the only one that knows how to raise human beings. You see that you are going to have problems. You're going to have very, very serious problems. So, like I said, the impact that TIP has made in my life and my journey is a whole lot, and I believe that every other parent can attest to this. Is a whole lot beyond. Um, just this month, Coach started talking about legacy, and you
Yes,
get
sir.
into that. You get into that webinar, you get into that conversation, then you
It's a
realize
different
it's a business.
world.
What's the business? What's the connection between all of this?
I
But at the end
agree.
of
I
it,
agree.
you see
You see the
that
lines connecting.
it's a whole long thread like that. It's a whole long thread like that, and you really cannot disconnect one from the other. You really cannot disconnect one from the other. So that's
Very
it.
true. Very true. Thank you so much. You never understand that quote that says parenting is not about the children, it's first about you. You never
It's about growth.
understand it until you get into the inner circle. One thing that the inner circle does for everyone who is part of that system is that it unravels you to you. So you begin to
True.
discover parts about you that you never knew existed. And I really loved how you tied it that it is not just about being biological parents, it's equipping for the journey. It is preparing for the journey ahead. Now let's talk about specific insights or lessons that you have learned from the academy. Now, in your conversation so far, you've shared a bit here and there, but I want us to be coherent now. What are things that you have taken and you have applied now, not just to your personal individual life, but to your work as a teens coach? What are the insights that have also helped you as well? Because remember, I mentioned that this session is multifaceted,
Yeah.
talking about your journey as an individual and also your journey working with teenagers. So, what key insights have you gotten that you would mind to share with us this morning?
Okay, let me talk about two things particularly. One of them would be I mentioned the conversation around managing your emotions as a person, and then the second one would be um, um, sibling rivalry, right? That book on sibling rivalry. You know, when
Yes,
Coach wrote
sir.
that book, I read it. I read all of it, and for me, sibling rivalry, I didn't really have much personally issues around there. But then I started to work with young people. I started to work with young people. I started to work with families, and I started giving out that particular book to a number of persons. And for every time I did, it kind of like made my work a whole lot, especially when I mentor older teenagers. They are in their late teens or already going to early 20s. And
Yeah.
I see that whole thing playing around, and I'm like, guys, you are about to, if you don't quench this fire that is burning on in your house now, you're not going to contain it in the next
It's
few
going to
years.
become a furnace.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So I remember this particular family that I gave the book to, and I've not stopped hearing about the impact of it because there's this other thing that I've seen somebody write it in the comment section about
Yeah.
peace as a skill. It ties
Yes.
into it. If you learn how to create, nobody really thought that we should sit down and learn how to create peace in the home. I mean, you just think that that thing should happen naturally,
Automatically and by
because
default.
we are
Yes, sir.
siblings. They gave birth to us in the same house. We should love one another. That like it comes now, but you will see in society that it doesn't come
Doesn't
naturally.
work
That
like that.
even the word love, maybe we should teach love as a skill because it doesn't really come like that. So
The one
you
thing I've
just think
learned
that
from the
because
academy that a lot of things we think comes by default doesn't come
yes,
by default.
it's,
There has
it's
to be
not
a
it's not by
system
default.
around it.
It's not by default. All right.
Yes, sir.
So that is very big. Peace, managing rivalry in the home, then emotional control. Emotional control. I
Yes.
work with teenagers, and I always say most times that self-regulation is the biggest need of young people around here. It comes naturally with being a young person, right? You have all of this energy. You want to bust out in different directions and things like that. So helping young people manage their self-expression, their emotions, their all of those things. Okay, so I particularly needed to go through all of that. And one of the things I have done is anybody here should go and pick up some of those I think there's one coming up, the managing your emotions challenge or something
Yes,
like that.
master your emotions challenge.
Mastering
Starting
your
on
emotions
yes, it
challenge.
starts on Monday. If you know you're there, I don't
You
know. I
should.
don't
You
know.
should.
You
And
should join. Yes,
by the
sir.
way, you probably should even go and watch all the previous editions that
Or
have
even
happened.
having access to it for free.
Okay, so you get in there, and it was a big one for me, and
Yes, sir.
helping young people realize that you are not what you feel. You are not, you see, the question of managing emotions, we can talk about it for the rest of this session
I
and
agree.
what it has given rise to. It has given rise to people committing suicide, it has given rise to people killing one another. The first story I mentioned about the
Yeah.
man whose first son killed his second son,
Cain and
it
Abel.
was an emotional thing. And when that guy got angry, they warned him, "Okay, why are you frowning your face? What happened?" happened?" If he had listened at that point, there would have been
You
no
love
murder down the
yes.
line. But
If he had been
managing
able to name his emotions at that
exactly,
point,
exactly, and find out where this thing is coming from and how exactly what was am I supposed to, you know, go about handling myself. So
yes,
that
sir.
that is very critical for me because managing young people, dealing with teenagers who are in that prime of emotional, they feel a lot of things. And sometimes
Yes,
one
sir.
was talking to me last and he said, I don't even know in the morning. So he gave me a lot of perspective on how to
Yes,
help
sir.
young people manage their emotions.
Emotions.
It's a really interesting conversation, and I hope that everyone jumps in. I didn't even know that that was for next Monday, but
For
everyone
yes,
listening
it's
to
for the
this,
ninth
jump
of
in there.
October. So if you're not yet in the see the Master Your Emotions challenge, the reason why we made it a low ticket challenge is so that you make it something that you get into every year. Because the truth is that it's one thing to get knowledge, it's another thing to renew that knowledge and practice it. And Master Your Emotions just reminds you of a lot of things that you have. And most importantly, this year, Coach has upgraded the curriculum. So if you think you knew something last year, this year is going to knock you off your tables. So the details has been shared on the screen. Please do well to join us. And yes, while you were speaking, Chiedozie, Coach came on and she said, "Hey, Chiedozie, so you want to say
Oh, I
hi
didn't
to
see
Coach
that.
quickly?" Yes, let me quickly pin it on the screen. I got carried away. So here it is. So Coach is on. You want to say hi? Then we
Hello,
continue.
coach. Good morning, ma'am. Of course, you do well. We miss you on the show. I personally miss
Yes,
you, and I
yes,
hope
we
you
do.
prove, you
We
prove,
are
you prove.
season coach for the weekend. I told this
I
year.
will
So if you
prove
are
you.
in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, we have seized coach for the weekend. So just check coach's timeline. You'll be seeing the details. The Brain High Schools will be hosting her starting from tomorrow through to Sunday in one of the biggest churches in Uyo. So if you reside in Uyo or its environs, Port Harcourt, Eket, Oron, any of those locations, please let us see you in Uyo. It's going to be a banger. Yes, 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 yes. Now let's move to the next conversation. What are some of the
Mhm.
benefits that you have enjoyed in the inner circle? The truth is that if we were to sum the real figures of all the bonuses that individuals assess when they join the inner circle, we are talking over six figures, and that is the truth. Now, if you were to access Coach Wendy personally, have a one-on-one with her like she does with the people in the academy almost every morning, we know we are talking six figures of the Nigerian naira. But a lot of these benefits have been given to you just for free. I belong to an academy where we're talking the money we a lot of people pay for 1 year in the academy, people do it for 1 month. But look, the value you get in the inner circle, guys, we can't quantify it. The money that the academy has charged, trust me, it's not worth it at all. But you have these and so much more. So much more. A lot of people attend just the first webinar, which I think is the onboarding webinar, and they're like, the money I paid has finished. The money I paid has finished. So, Coach Doje, what are the bonuses that you've enjoyed in the academy that you think a lot of people should be privy to?
When you started with six figures. I'm sure you did not notice that my face changed when you say six figures of the Nigerian naira. I'm imagining what? What are you talking about? All right. Okay, so because
So you agree it should be more than that?
you really can't put it to you really can't put it to figures, honestly.
I agree.
Um, honestly, and this is not I'm not exaggerating anything. You Anybody here who is in inner circle will tell you, you really
No.
can't put it to figures. It's not um I've had to pay people some time ago to just accountability. Let's take that one item in the inner circle,
Yes,
accountability.
sir.
How much does it cost to hire an accountability coach? How much does it cost? How much does it? Okay, you don't want to hire. When was the last time you have been telling your friends to hold you accountable for something? How
When
has it
last did they
worked?
hold you really?
How has it worked? Tell us your experience on how your journey with accountability is. And just holding, say, I set this goal, this one goal for myself, and I want to hire somebody to hold me accountable on that assignment. Just put that alone would cover your six figures that you mentioned and more. So that accountability that someone is going to ask you if you are doing what you
For
said
one whole
you would.
year.
In the inner circle, this is personal review season. So you're going to come and defend what you have been
What you've
learning
been
since
doing.
January. And you know, that's one of it. And maybe the biggest is holding yourself accountable to I want to raise exceptional young people, and I need somebody to hold me by the hand and walk me through that journey. and
Yes.
everybody. Part of the problem we have around here is pride. You hear those things like, "Hey, why should they be teaching me about parenting? Why should they not be teaching you about parenting? Why have you not gone to the
Who are
airport and
you?
carried that
Coach,
aircraft and asked them,
Coach
why should they
Etima
be
said, "Who
teaching
are
you?
you?
Who are you?
Who are
Who are you?
you?"
Why have you not carried your car and say, why should they be teaching me how to repair this car?
How to?
And
Yes.
go and try. Who are you that they should not teach you about parenting? And so, accountability, holding by the hand, you come into the inner circle, you see other people walking your
The same
journey.
journey.
You see other people walking your journey. So, parents sit in their homes, and those are not inner circle parents, by the way, and they think that their child is unique. The reason why Coach Wendy can be saying this kind of thing is because her children are good children. She
Are
has not seen
different.
my type of children. Imagine that your children were manufactured from space and brought down, and that something different is going on with them. But you come into the academy and you see that, man, everybody has children, and these young people, these kids have the same set of needs, have the
Yes.
same kind of manifestations, and you hear stories from other people, and you realize it even helps you to calm down. You know that thing they used to tell parents, just be
Your
calming down,
humility, Agbada.
swear your brother and and calm down, just be calm.
Come all the
It
way
helps
down. Yes,
it helps
sir.
you to it helps you to realize that there is really no big fire burning in your house. What is missing in your house is the knowledge element, is
Yes.
and that's what the academy comes to bring. So accountability and being able to see other community members who are doing what you're doing, going through the same challenges and finding help and sharing their testimony. So sometimes it's not even Coach Wendy's session that will give you
Exactly.
the answer you're looking for. It is somebody
Now,
else.
Coach Dozier, hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
hold that thought.
Mm.
What you're just about to say is my next line of question. And
Okay.
before you continue, let me quickly ask, can you describe the community aspect of being in the inner circle? I tell
Mm,
parents a lot that, like what you said, sometimes
mm,
it's not just what Coach Wendy says.
mm.
Sometimes it's your fellow parents who came in together with you on the 1st of December, coming back to say, that thing coach said, I did it, and this is the result. That thing the other coach said, that thing this person, it's the practicality for me. So I wanted to ask, what is the community and what is the impact from what you've seen so far? What has the community done for a lot of parents in the inner circle? And what would you advise anybody about the community angle of the yard?
The TIP over delivers. I've tried to establish that from the beginning. The TIP over delivers. And so here is one promise to somebody who is not in the academy yet. And then the people in the academy already know. Uh, there is hardly any one person in the academy who has followed 100% of what is available in the academy. I
I'm not
don't know who
seeing
that
that.
person is. There is something to learn every day in the academy. There is a class, there is a course, there is a 5 minute audio, there is a 10 minute conversation somewhere, there is
Those
one 10 a
audios,
there's one 10 a.m. webinar.
webinar,
There's something going on somewhere in the academy such that no one person can beat their chest and say, finish, I learned
yes,
everything.
yes.
I'm going to jump into something else, and I hope you are not going to stop me. Because some people have been in the inner circle and they jumped off because they thought they learned the thing,
We're
and
done,
then
yes.
when you go outside, you realize that you need to come and you need to come and finish your degree.
It's really
Okay,
that
but
system.
that community part, which is the question that you asked, is I've seen people go to church and the only thing they are centered on, they want to hear what the man of God has to say. But why I mentioned the fact that nobody has done the 100% is there is that one day where they said something that was for you, but you did not hear that one. There's that one early morning where Coach Wendy woke up by 6 a.m. and dropped something that you
Drop that
skipped because
banging
so many
audio.
things, so many things about. and then it's your area of struggle. But somebody else in the community heard it. Somebody else in the community picked it up. Somebody else in the community practiced it. So you come in, no matter how it can be overwhelming. Trust me, ask all the parents there. It can be overwhelming when you see what you have to learn and what you have to do. But one person has picked it up and have done it. And so one evening it's just a banter, maybe it's a book review, and people are sharing something, and it pops up again. You wonder, where did that person get it from?
Where
No, they got it from
exactly?
somewhere the day you were sleeping or the day that you were traveling or something like that. And that's the benefit of community. The benefit of community is that um, um, you get to do life with people
People.
who are on your journey. I've said that before, who understand your
Exactly.
struggles, and you really need to take advantage of that community. Like go into the spaces, see what other people are saying, ask questions from amongst the other members of the community. And like coach is in Uyo, you probably have never met all the other members of the circle in
You take
your
advantage of
locality.
that
Go around there
community.
and see what's going on there. That is priceless. Trust me, that is priceless. So being in a community is one thing. Taking advantage. It's a proverb. It's not the TIP that manufactured the proverb that it takes a village to raise
To
a
really
child. But I realize that we're not really raising children in communities. We're not really raising children in
because the
we're just
knowledge is missing.
the knowledge is missing. And so that community is what that village is what the TIP inner circle provides for you. And this is a village of like-minded people. It's not a village of where you're pursuing something and that person is pursuing something.
Achikatekon.
Eh. This is a village of like-minded people who have come together on this one journey. And so
And permit me to add, sir, before
yeah,
you move, that you don't pick the caliber, the quality of people in the inner circle on the streets.
no, you don't.
The quality of people we have in the inner circle are carefully curated. Now, if this is the only reason you're joining the inner circle, trust me, it's for your benefit. Please continue, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So going from that statement you just made, because coach will always say, if you want to raise how does she put it again? If you want to build a shanty versus when you want to build a mansion, there are two
Mansion.
different there are two different
You,
approaches to it.
you build a
The day
shanty on tips and hacks.
yeah, you can build a shanty on tips and hacks. The day you realize that what you want to build is not a shanty,
It's
then
a
you better join the
mansion.
community of people that have the same vision,
Yes,
because
sir.
some other persons on the street might just be building anything without the
Yes,
design,
sir.
without the plan, without the focus, and
Shanties,
so
huts, slums.
anything, and even town halls, So and something like this that they are building there. But you want to raise a different kind of child. You want to come into a community of people who are going on that journey,
Same
and that
journey
is
with
something that is
you.
lacking in our society, even
It's a
our
bit
education system, where we're taught to do things on our own. We're not really taught collaboration. Nobody really emphasizes
very true,
collaboration,
sir.
and it's a very key ingredient in the life of successful people. Is that ability to collaborate, that ability to exchange ideas, and that is one other thing that the community. I'm emphasizing the inner circle is a community, and so you
Yes,
want to come
sir.
into that place and take advantage of that community. You will finish, you will do 2, 3 years inside the academy. You are not going to touch everything that was said in the academy.
Very true.
You're not going to touch everything
Very
that was said
true.
in the academy. So that
Very
that
true,
that's it
sir.
for me.
Very true. Now, Faith Gabriel says in the comment section that the community of like minded people is one of my motivations to register in July. I heard, saw, and connected immediately.
Hmm.
Counting down to the 1st of December. Who else is counting down to the 1st of December? Let us see you in the comment section. Now, a lot of parents are hesitant about joining a program like the Inner Circle. Like, they would say to themselves or to the people inviting them that my parents didn't have to learn parenting, and the popular statement, I turned out okay. So what do you have to say to these parents, sir?
I have to tell them that they did not turn out okay. It's as simple as they did not turn out okay.
You
Well,
think you turned out okay till you get into the inner circle.
you did not turn out
Then
okay.
you're
We're just going to
still broke.
administer some tests and we'll find out that you did not turn out okay.
I'm telling you. I'm
We have to
telling
check your
you.
definition of okay.
Yes, sir.
You want to check which dictionary you're using to define okay. We did not turn out okay. If we turned out okay, society will be different.
I
If we
agree.
and please don't tell me that it's the end time. We leave end time. End time is not the gift, it's not the corporate here. Let me see. We did not turn out okay. We did not turn out okay.
We
We have
didn't.
we have problems. Okay, just look at the public space and see what we have created. See the society we have created. All of us that turned
Telling
out okay. See the society we have created. See the crop of leaders we have produced. All of them came out from families. Eh, all of them came out from family. They had the
you. Yes,
same
sir.
type of parents that we want to
That
talk
turned
about
out okay.
that turned out okay. We did not turn out okay,
We
and
didn't.
that is not an indictment on the parents. Because when you say it, people say, for me, for instance, some people say when you start having your own children, we see you are wasting your time. Yeah, yeah. It's like telling somebody on their way to flight school that they will not pass exam when they finish or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that
I
you are
get the
just wasting your time.
analogy.
You are questioning knowledge. You're questioning your you are darkening knowledge, if you understand what I mean by that. But let's leave it. Just darkening knowledge. Okay, so we did not turn out okay. And if
Yeah.
you are thinking that you can do it on your own, all right, good luck to you.
Well done.
It's like saying you will go and learn how to how to do surgery just by sitting inside library. Somebody said recently, I think it was a few days ago, that reading Coach Wendy's books and not being in the academy is like, I don't know how they described it. It's like
Worlds
going
apart.
it's like going to stay in one place and doing something. So you can choose to do it on your own, but that's a risky thing to do, and I will not advise you to do that. Jump
Yeah.
into jump into the academy. Get a blueprint. I have shouted this on a number of platforms. There's a template for raising children. There is a
Very
template
true.
for it. Don't just do trial and error, which is what
Yeah.
the previous generation had done. And I was going to say that that is not an indictment on that generation of parents. It is a it is an assessment, it's an honest assessment.
The
Any
pointer.
system that refuses to review itself is a system that is failing. Any
Yes, sir.
system that refuses to, because it is review that leads to improvement. You go to school, you go and write exam. The reason for writing the exam is not to condemn you. The reason for writing the
Just
exam is to
to
find out
evaluate.
where you have gained strength and where we need to add more training. And so that's
Very
that's the
true.
reason for doing an honest assessment of how we were raised. And so if you make that assessment, I say that every single adult from this part of the world, when you have a responsibility to
To
reparent yourself,
reparent yourself. Yes, sir.
it's a responsibility. It's not, you can choose to take up that responsibility, you can
Or
choose not
not.
to. It's like saying that, because they raised you in Okokomaiko Community Secondary School, that you will raise your children in that same place. Go and
Yes,
try it,
sir.
and you will see whether the result will be you. We will not check whether you turned out okay. So every system must, assess itself, must examine itself, must improve itself. And so, if we hope to build a better society, we must check what institution is producing the caliber of children who are hooked on drugs, who are bullying one another on the streets of Nigeria. We must check the institution that is producing the kind of children who are stealing money from government coffers, who are selling fake drugs on the streets of some parts of Nigeria. I mean, medical doctors who are giving their patients fake drugs. It's not the problem of the school that raised them. It's the problem of
True.
the family institution where they
The
came out of.
values that were
It is the problem of
inculcated
the
into
value
them.
system that produced those kinds of persons. We must check the kind of society that is breeding the kind of debt we have in Nigeria and all
The
across
leaders we have.
we must check all of those things. And when you go right down to it, as much as the educational system has its responsibilities, the family institution that produces those kinds of human beings have the biggest work to do. And so
Yes, sir.
that is the reason why you should not stay in your house and say, I turned out okay. Because it's not a journey of one person. Only you, one, did not turn out okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about the webinars. I remember this very random day. Coach had, I think it was a spontaneous webinar. Coach had just come on and she wasn't teaching anything. She was just sharing some very real life experiences that she had. And I was in that webinar. I didn't know when tears started dropping. And it was as if someone had put a warm blanket over me. Now, this is my definition of some of those webinars. Someone here is going to tell you that those webinars shake the entirety of their beings. Some people will tell you that
Of
they
course.
barely can stand in those webinars. Some people will tell you, like, everyone here has different explanations of what the inner circle webinars do for them. Now, if you're here and you're thinking that, of course, we have coach every Tuesday, guys, no, that's not what we're talking about. That is not the inner circle webinars. They are a different ball game altogether. Please, can you
By the way,
speak?
inner circle people understand Tuesday live videos more than any other human being.
Yes,
So
sir.
that thing you think you are hearing, what you
You've not
think you are
heard
hearing
anything.
from their side, it means a whole world of
Different ball
difference
game.
for
Yes,
the people in
sir.
the inner circle. So if you come into that circle, then Tuesday live will begin to make more sense
More
to you. You think
sense.
it's making sense. It's not until you
Yes,
come in. Then
sir.
you understand why Tuesday live is an extension of
Of whatever was done in the inner
entities.
circle.
You know the way Jesus Christ said, I speak to them in parables. To you,
Yes.
I give you the real gist. So that they will, so that's the way. It's like parable. You're hearing parable. You don't understand the meaning of what you're listening to on Tuesday live programs.
Very true.
Somebody says like the tithe.
The 1/10.
Okay. I
All
can't wait
right.
to. Okay, don't mind me. I
So
was trying to read some of the
Marvis
things.
Marvis is saying that yesterday's webinar burnt me raw,
Of
peeled the
course,
raw, and
of course.
healed. And healing has started in my mindset on financial management. This is
Mm,
what
mm,
we enjoy on. Now, let's talk about the webinar on legacy.
mm.
Guys, if you're not in the inner circle, honestly, what would fail me to, and at every point, if you think of, there's no one word to describe the experience of the inner circle. The inner circle is rather experienced than said. No matter how huge your vocabulary is, you can't elucidate the experience of the inner circle. The honest truth,
Mhm.
like what you said, Mr. Coach Chiedozie, it is intangible. Like,
You can't quantify
let's,
it.
you can't quantify it.
You
That's
can't
the
quantify
truth.
it.
You can, is it the
Has
wedding?
anybody thought? Has anybody thought about you come into the next and you start hearing things like exit plan, like
Where?
where does it come from? Where it comes from? People
What?
are afraid to talk about dying as if you will not die. You will die.
What? Like,
You
I've never heard about that in my
will
life.
die. And then nobody prepares your children, and people things happen, people die, families are thrown into chaos, and you don't want to include that in part of your parenting.
I'm telling you.
So you see why I said you really need to go and sit down and assess that thing you are calling okay.
And
You need to check it okay.
another one was the webinar on the marriage and dating plan. Coach
Mm-hmm.
Chiedozie. We have over 79 people on this call. How many of your parents prepared you for marriage? How many?
That is the biggest your biggest responsibility in life.
I'm
Nobody told
telling
you to
you.
plan for it. They
How
prepared
many
you to
people?
become doctor. They prepared you to
God,
become when you get into that place, the thing you were prepared for. So we are succeeding in career, but families are failing. The results will show up in the next crop of people that come up. That's where the
very
results will come.
true.
Because now
Very true, sir.
it's left, right, and center. Divorce is the reigning thing. You're following social media people talking woke culture. When they finish woking, the effect of that their wokeness will show up very soon, and then people will go to sleep. That is what will
Yes,
happen.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's what will happen.
Yes, sir.
So when you come into that, you mentioned legacy, for instance, where you build you build your parenting beyond just what is in the now. And you get to hear some of the fallacies that you have believed get dismantled in the inner circle. And not just because we like to throw around quotes, but
Yes,
because these
sir.
things are rooted in wisdom. These things are rooted in practical wisdom. So you get to learn about that. Parents are doing parenting and their marriages are suffering. So at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
you are wonderful with your children, but you and your spouse. I heard a story a few days ago for those that follow me on WhatsApp, and I was sharing on WhatsApp. I said, how do people get to have enemies as spouse? How because man, it was mind blowing what I heard this week, and
Wow.
I just had to blot out that thought. Like, how do you end up with an enemy in your house, and you say you people are married, and then you people have wonderful children? But the inner circle kind of like, yeah, there are a lot of fathers here. I can see
Yes.
them in the comment section. The inner circle kind of brings all of that into perspective because
Yes.
that is what results in this your parenting thing. That is what results in the wholeness of the individual they are going to raise and gift the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now let us talk about the personal discipline that the inner circle gives to you. You know, a lot of times we parents complain of overwhelm before they get into the inner circle. But as they learn systems, they learn structure, they learn organization, they learn essentialism, a lot of times they find that they are able to better manage their lives. It was Mrs. Notch during her session that mentioned that the inner circle would also teach you. Just haggling the different activities in the inner circle would help you deal with the activities in your life better. Just the webinar on time management, which at its core is teaching essentialism, teaches you to prioritize the most important things and deprioritize the things that are not important. Let's speak to the systems, the structures, the routines, and the organizations that are being taught in the inner circle, sir.
Coach will tell you that there are, I forget the number now, 900 and how many
800 and something Saturdays,
Saturdays between when your child
0
is
to
born
18.
and when they turn 18. And I never heard that before. And when you hear it sounds simple, but you have never really sat down to think that
Think about it.
this is the number of days with which you're going to do parenting. In the book of Psalms 90 and verse 12, it says, teach us to number our days so that we can apply our hearts to wisdom. And never, let me not say never, but I don't know how many persons who read that and actually sit down to number their days. So actually sit down to, because that's where you begin to do structure. You know 940 Saturdays. Thank you, Amela. You
Thank
know,
you.
you never really you never really bother to check that this parenting thing you're doing has a timetable on it. So talking about structure, right? Let me go back to training. I said we are trained for different other things that we do. Nobody really bothers to get training on parenting and on family life. You go to school, one of the first things they'll give you is a curriculum and a timetable. So
Yes.
you know on Monday I have
What are you
maths,
doing?
on Wednesday I have science, biology, and the rest of them. You know that this is what you're expected to learn at the end of each semester. When you come into the inner circle, you will create a curriculum for your family.
Yes.
So you know this is what I am building. I, I've said to a number of persons when some of the things that trend in Nigeria trend, and I say we really need to teach ourselves and the generation that we're raising to define success for themselves. So you have a vision, you have where you are going. When you define those things, you stop doing parenting from the place of competition. You realize that you are doing something different. You realize that Christmas time is not a time for who wore the finest clothes and who did the finest things. Okay, so that puts a lot of structure around your process. The other thing that structure does for you is you can measure progress. I tell people that anything you cannot measure is not growing.
True.
If it cannot be measured, you cannot say you are growing. Based on what parameters are you defining growth? So
Yes,
you come
sir.
into a place where you have systems and structure so that you know from day one. See, when companies set their annual targets, they measure it, they have KPIs, they measure it, and they know when they are driving in the direction of that target, and they know when they are not, so that you start making your adjustments on time. But without all of those structures, where vision is not known, the natural thing that happens is people will cast off restraint. So you start doing things anyhow, and then you get to that eight because whether you do it or not, 18 years will pass.
Yes, sir.
You get to that 18th year and you realize that you were leaning on the wrong wall. And that is a disaster because by the time you realize that, there is no undoing the last 18 years.
Yes, sir.
There's no undoing it. I mentor teenagers, and one of the things I say to parents is, I hate repairing failed programs. I better start on time.
Yes, sir.
Better start. There are plenty, and this is again, if anybody is listening to me, this is not out of annoyance or something like that, but it's disappointing to hear somebody coming to ask you questions about a 25-year-old and what they should do. And I'm like, where were you 10 years
What are
ago?
you doing?
Where were you 5 years ago?
I
Where were
get.
you? Ask parents that have come into the inner circle with teenagers will tell you that they wish they were here, when they were raising toddlers. And so
Yes,
that you
sir.
can really build in the system. Because our people say that you don't learn how to use your left hand at old age.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So structures, systems, timetable. Nobody really tells you to document your parenting. Document that singular thing alone. You come into the night, one of the first gifts you will collect is you will
The
collect a journal.
journal.
Then you start writing your parenting journey. So you stop parenting off head.
Yes, sir.
This okay that we turned out is off head. When you bring that thing and subject it to systems, you will realize that it is not okay at all. So
Yes, sir.
you start documenting your process. You start documenting your process. You start seeing where the loopholes are. Your children will you start having a relationship with your children beyond blood. You see, the only relationship some persons have with their children is that I gave birth to you,
Yeah.
I carried you
Give
in my
birth
womb
to your
9 months.
mother.
And so after 9 months, what now happened? Carried you in my womb for 9 months and you're using it to threaten those children. But when you come into the academy and you get the systems and you get the structures that are required for you to raise a whole human being, you're now going to see that you don't have time to be quarreling with your children. You don't have that time. You and your children don't have that time because you are focused on building relationships and building an institution and building legacy and
Yes,
building
sir.
legacy. So that whole thing is on its own priceless.
Yes,
Leave
sir.
everything you're going to learn. Just that you're going to structure your home. You're going to document. If they tap you from sleep, you
Tomorrow.
can say exactly where your family is
What I
going.
did. Yes, sir.
Your children can say it. Your children are going to learn what the vision of what are we even building in this house. Are we going to be like the OKKs when you are not an OKK and things like that? So it helps children. It helps the parents in the inner circle whose children that I work with. It's a whole different kettle of fish. Like you jump in from
Yes, sir.
somewhere and come and tell me to mentor your child. I will,
Yes, sir.
but you see, you will give me the responsibility of mentoring your child and mentoring you.
Yes, sir.
So that's
Yes,
that
sir.
that that's about structure.
That's it.
Every question you have asked is a webinar topic on its own.
Yes, sir.
Structure systems for the family is one aspect of the inner circle that is priceless, honestly. And you begin it from day one. That is the first thing you will get is you start defining exactly what your family is
Where
about,
you're going to.
defining, and you realize that you are like coach will say 10,000 lions have been chasing you, but you did not know. Now you know which direction to run so that you
You're
can
ready for the war.
and it's simply
Oh,
amazing.
wow. Oh
It's a
wow, thank you so much, Coach Dozier. Now I love what you said that if you get into the inner circle, you move from just being a biological parent. And in the words of one of the speakers during the last conference, you move from just being a biological parent to being a mentor, to being a patriarch, to being a matriarch, to being a system on your own. And that is what the inner circle helps you to achieve. Now, our final words would be, what would be your advice to three categories of people: single people who are just like you, who are hearing you for the first time; secondly, to the already existing members of the inner circle who are wondering, should I not come back? I've gotten all the knowledge, like you mentioned somewhere within your session. Lastly, to the new people who are watching this now and who will watch this later, what would be your final words to them?
to those who are outside, go and sign up. That's is that simple. Just go and sign up. But just to add to that, if if you do, one of the things I can guarantee you is you're going to realize that the money you paid will be over delivered. The money you paid will be over delivered. You're going to
So
realize that that is not, especially if you're someone who is personal development driven.
driven,
If you're driven in that direction, one of the things you realize is that this particular program is not priced as it should be.
true,
See, if you're in that space, you know how much the other coaches in other different industries will charge you for 1 year in their program. It's in dollars. You
yes,
pay
sir.
in dollars. Now they're asking you to pay. So the fee is nothing compared to what you're missing. Like I said, you can keep depending on what somebody called tight. I don't even know whether it's tight. You can keep depending on Tuesday live parables. You will never reach there. That's the truth.
True,
To
sir.
those who are already in the inner circle and you're wondering whether to come back, don't jump out of the boat. I
Stay
think
in
God
the
begged
ark.
you. Don't jump out of this ark. It is not funny. The street is military. Don't go there.
The streets are crude.
Don't go there. Better stay in this place and focus on what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing. Like I said, you really cannot say you have gotten all of. There are people who are doing level one for the fourth year before the third year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they realize that it's not just about jumping to the bigger things. Yeah, there are more. There are weightier matters of the law. And so you just stay put. Go and pay your 5,000 naira after this
Book a
call
slot.
and book a slot and stay back on your seat. Sit down where you are and keep learning.
Yes,
Because
sir.
your journey has not finished. The lions that are waiting for you outside, they are still waiting. They are just hoping. They are honestly hoping that you make that jump.
Yes,
The
sir.
sharks in the water are hoping that you will jump. So please don't jump. Stay in the ark, stay in the net. And
Yes,
what the other
sir.
group of person you say I should speak to? Single people,
For the
right? I said
singles. Yes, sir.
I said in the beginning that this is one part of our lives where nobody really prepares you for. Nobody you see, our time is up, right? Nobody really prepares you for parenting. Nobody really prepares you for marriage until until your eye go clear. She love is blind. Your eye will you will receive
Marriage is
healing.
gonna open it.
You will receive healing. You will be I can promise you that. It's
You'll
not
be
a miracle.
magnified.
You- Once you get healing, then you realize. So get training. That's the point.
Yes, sir.
Get training for your biggest assignment. Your biggest assignment is probably parenting. Your biggest assignment. You don't want to join the statistic. I was in a conference
Hmm.
recently, and it is said that the highest divorce rate now in Europe is amongst black people. And guess who the black
Wow.
people are? They're Nigerians. Um, so you don't want to be part of that statistic. And it's simple. The reason why that statistic happens is because people refuse to learn what works. You want to join social media culture
Bring my
and
power
believe
bank.
Please give Precious her power bank. Our time is almost gone.
So
So,
sorry.
no, it's okay. So the reason why that statistic happens is because people don't want to learn what works. You just want to do trial and error with your life. Please don't do it. Don't gamble with your life. Get into a system that trains you and prepares you, just like you are prepared to succeed in your career. Because you go and check all the people that are jumping off the marriage institution. They're doing well in career. They're doing well
Yes,
in some other aspects of their life. But this one
yes,
area is not
sir.
working. The reason is you were not trained. No, you're not accountable to anybody in that area of your life that you find very, very important. So if it is important to you, get into a system and get trained, get developed,
Get
get
into a
prepared
system
for what it
and
is
get trained.
you're planning to do. Thank you
Wow.
very much, Precious. Thank you.
Thank you
It's
so much, Coach D. This is a session on its own. I have definitely picked up pointers, I've picked up insights that I'll be ruminating on as my day goes by. Now, to book a slot to join the inner circle for the 2024 cohort opens on the most important day of the year, which is the 1st of December 2023. And
it's
now,
EIP Christmas Day.
after it's our Christmas Day, literally our New Year. It's our New Year. On that, after the 1st of December, you no longer get in. Now, one thing you would know about the academy is that we stick to our words. So once we've opened the arc on the 1st of December 2023, you no longer get in. Now, all you need to do to get into the academy is to book a booking fee of pay a booking fee of 5,000 naira. Then your total fee for the registration is 100,000 per annum. Now you are to finish payment by the 1st of December. So it's best for you to start now. For those of you who want to complete the payment, fantastic. For those of you who want to take um charge of our payment plan, you can do that until the 1st of December. That is when people get in, and we shut off until the 1st of December 2024. Now, if you're a couple coming in, you pay a couple fee of 170,000 naira
170,000.
per annum. Now, this is a steal, if you ask me, and if you ask Coach Chiedozie as well. This is a steal, and you don't want to miss this
I promise you,
experience.
you will bring the balance. It's a promise.
It's a
I
promise. It's a
promise
promise.
you bring the balance as seed that come and give to Coach Wendy.
So Linda is asking, what is the difference between the single payment and the couples payment? Now, the couples is for a couple, a husband and wife coming together to join
Husband
the
and wife.
academy. Yes, they get access to 30%, 30,000 naira off their fee. So they were supposed to do 200,000, but they do 170,000 instead. If you have any final questions, would like to take that. Edith says, yes, oh, my decision, no. Someone said yesterday that why is it that Nigerians always add oh to their statements? So
it
Edith
was
was
it
boosting,
was Busi
boosting
that
Femi
asked that
that
question.
said it. Yes. So yes, so why is it that Nigeria I want
So
to
that you can
remain
hear it
imbued.
well.
Yes, yes, to emphasize it. Yes. Kate says the inner circle is a refiner to me and my generations
Yeah, yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Someone is saying I'll be repeating level one for the third time. Coach would always say it's not really about the level you are in,
It's not
it's
about the
about the
level.
transformation. So if you're repeating for the first time, your journey is personal. That's what coach would always say. Well done, Edith. Big ups to you. Amaka says, I love your calmness, Coach Chiedozie. You're calm, calm. Someone said that during the peace, it wasn't just what you talked about in the peace webinar, it was your disposition to. I listened to your webinar
Well,
recently. I was like,
it's peace that
oh,
it's peace that we're teaching. We have to be peaceful.
you even give
Have to be
backbone
peaceful.
in a peaceful way. You give backbone, but you're still very peaceful about it. Well done, sir. And someone said TIP Live is the pinch of salt. Come and enjoy the real deal in the inner circle. Someone is
Yeah,
saying die
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. It's been an honor hosting you. Thank you so much, Coach Wendy. And Coach Chiedozie, thank you for being here. God bless
Thank
you and
you.
have a beautiful week. The Master
Yeah.
Your Emotions Challenge starts on Monday, the 9th of October. If you're not yet on board, send the chat to the Academy and we'll furnish you with all the details you need to join. Have a beautiful day, guys. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you very much, Precious. Bye bye.